Imagine that the day you were born, someone secretly installed software inside your mind. You couldn't see it, you couldn't delete it, and every important money decision you would ever make would quietly be influenced by that invisible program. Sounds impossible, right? But what if I told you that's exactly what happened? Before you earned your first dollar, before you opened your first bank account, before you even knew what investing meant, someone had already shaped the way you think about money. They taught you to trade time for income. They taught you that debt was normal. They taught you that success meant looking wealthy instead of becoming wealthy. The terrifying part isn't that this program exists. It's that millions of people will live their entire lives without ever realizing they're running it. By the end of this story, you'll see why two people with the exact same salary can end up with completely different futures, and why escaping poverty begins by rewriting the code inside your own mind. As a child, nobody sat you down and explained how money really works. Instead, you absorbed lessons without realizing it. You watched adults celebrate payday and fear bills. You heard people say, money doesn't grow on trees, but almost never heard, money can grow through investing. You learned that working harder was the answer to every financial problem. Nobody explained that there comes a point where working harder isn't enough. Systems matter, habits matter, ownership matters. Without realizing it, your financial operating system was already being written. Then adulthood arrives. You get your first paycheck, and for a brief moment you feel free, but before you can enjoy it, the money begins disappearing. Rent, insurance, car payments, credit cards, subscriptions, taxes. Suddenly you realize something nobody warned you about. Your paycheck isn't arriving to build your future. It's arriving to pay for decisions you've already made, and every new monthly payment quietly writes another line of code into the program that's controlling your financial life. Now imagine two friends earning exactly the same salary. One spends every raise on a better lifestyle, the other quietly buys assets that generate future income. 10 years later, one is trapped by bigger bills. The other owns more freedom. Their income was never the biggest difference. Their programming was. The wealthiest people don't just think differently because they have money. They have money because they learned to think differently. So here's the question that changed my life. Who taught you how to think about money? Was it your parents, your school, television, social media, or people who were just as financially confused as everyone else? Because if your financial beliefs came from people who never achieved financial freedom themselves, maybe it's time to question the program you've been running all along. The moment you question your programming is the moment you begin writing a completely different future. When you graduate, everyone asks the same question. What job are you going to get? Almost nobody asks, what life are you trying to build? That small difference changes everything. From your first day in school, you were rewarded for following instructions, meeting deadlines, and fitting into the system. Those are valuable skills, but they were never meant to teach you financial freedom. They were designed to prepare you for employment, not ownership. There's nothing wrong with having a job. The problem begins when your job becomes your only source of survival. The moment your paycheck becomes your only plan, your future is no longer completely yours. Then your salary increases. At first it feels like you finally made it. You celebrate with a newer car, a bigger apartment, better clothes, more subscriptions, a nicer vacation. Everything looks successful from the outside, but behind every upgrade hides another monthly payment quietly waiting for your next paycheck. Without realizing it, you've built a more expensive cage. The bars are polished, the seats are made of leather, the windows are bigger, but it's still a cage, and every promotion simply makes it harder to walk away. Every single day, thousands of advertisements compete for one thing: your attention. They don't just want your money, they want your identity. They convince you that buying something new will make you happier, more successful, more respected. They rarely sell products, they sell emotions. The newest phone promises confidence, the luxury car promises status, the designer clothes promise acceptance. But once the excitement fades, another advertisement arrives with the same promise. It's a cycle designed to keep you consuming instead of creating. One evening, you notice something that changes your perspective forever. Wealthy people don't ask, "Can I afford this?" They ask, "Will this make me wealthier or poorer 5 years from now?"